There it is.
We're having
Sheesh, every time.
Every
So,
time.
I just said these really
Hear me
poetic
doing
words
this.
about the episode too.
Too many
I
things at
need
once.
Ryan to check these things.
I
Ryan,
thought you were
we missed
checking
you.
before we went.
The audio was there for the intro song. That's just how it always goes. Alright.
So we going around again?
Yes.
Start it
Okay,
over.
Chantal.
From the top.
Alright, good thing you didn't miss me messing up in the beginning then. Chantal do.
Jonah do.
Katie Bills. Melissa Bell.
Kevin Delp.
Sarah Meadows.
And Will Meadows, and tonight we're talking about what I said earlier, some of the most important games in the hobby, because these are the ones that pull you in, give you that everlasting love for board gaming.
It was better the first time.
It was better. I know. Read my lips, because I have words that I don't even know where they
Maybe
came
we have a
from.
lip reader that can tell us.
Help me out. What we get? Okay, I think we're back. Sounds gooder. Yep, it was Will's fault. That's right. Thanks.
Totally will.
Sounds gooder.
But we'd love to chat with you guys as we go through this. This was kind of maybe inspired by a post that we made on Facebook earlier this week where we asked what are some of your favorite, or what was, maybe there's a picture, what is your favorite gateway game? We got a lot of great responses. We know it's like a pretty popular topic. Everybody kind of has their own opinions on it. I think most of us probably had different games that got us into the hobby. Some of them are the
We
same.
got hundreds of responses on this, so it seems like it's something that people are passionate about.
Right.
So.
And we're passionate about it too. I always enjoy teaching a lot of these games. There's something about the fun of just watching people's eyes light up as they, for the first time, realize how great this hobby is. So I don't know exactly where to start at, but I thought
We
maybe...
should start off with our sponsor.
Okay, do that.
Burnt Island Games.
That's
Kevin's
right.
got a game right there. And
another one.
And another one right
Gateway
there.
level entry game.
Yeah.
Technically, these aren't Burnt Island games, but
Well-
they're from their parent company.
Their other company.
Sister company.
Sister company.
Sister brother company. Kids Table Board Gaming. They have some great family weight games that you can check out on their website. This one's Food Fighters, 2-player only game, right?
Yes.
And then this one is Haunt the House. They have another one called Wreck Raiders, and that's probably a really good gateway game.
Yes. If you want to check out stuff from Burnt Island, though, they have Into Deep coming to Kickstarter September 15th. It is a great action.
Not gateway, it's pretty deep.
No, it is a deep, meaty game. Doesn't fit our gateway category, but coming to Kickstarter.
But it's fun.
It is. You are an agent going undercover, trying to infiltrate the
Criminal syndicates.
criminal
You're
syndicate.
plugging into them. It's pretty
Yes,
cool.
it's kind of like Matrix style.
Don't go too deep.
That's right.
True.
So check that out, September 15th from Burnt Island Games.
Cool. And you guys we have a playthrough on our channel, right?
Yes, we
So
do.
check that out. Cool. Let's get into the gateway stuff. So definitely in the comments, share with us what games got you into the hobby, what board games got you into this hobby, and we'd love to hear about that. And we can comment on it right now. So.
Yeah, absolutely. Why don't we start with, I think maybe you guys both shared on a semi-recently episode.
Will is like in rare form tonight.
Yeah, my coffee has not kicked in for the second stash.
It's decaf.
It's decaf.
I explained it. I was counting on you. But recap for us just a little bit some of the games that were the quintessentials to getting you into the hobby.
Yeah, so for me, and my family really doesn't play that many games. So we had Scrabble.
Does that
That's
count?
does
That
that
doesn't count.
Not a
It
gateway.
is-
That doesn't count.
Totally
I mean-
mainstream, but keep going.
okay. Then when I got introduced into Jonah's family, the first game I played was Dutch Blitz
Okay.
and Catan.
Catan, okay, we hit one. Okay.
There we go. Can you see that?
Absolutely, yep. Yeah, so my family, it's got to be Catan for me. Well, I mean, it's not really like the first game that I played, because I think I had played maybe a Ticket to Ride before Catan, played maybe a Carcassonne before Catan.
I did play Seven Wonders.
Oh, that's another
That's a
good
good
game.
one.
Yeah,
That's a real good
that's a
one.
pretty good one. But Catan for me was the game that that's just where I kind of fell in love with board gaming. So that also included us getting every expansion we possibly could and combining them and playing online and all sorts of crazy stuff. So it's got to be Catan for me.
Who else was Catan? Anybody else?
We did play Catan at the beginning, but I don't
Is
know.
the technical definition of gateway, but I agree. I think I agree with where you're going. Keep going.
There were other games that I realized I really enjoy this way more than Catan. I want to keep playing games like this.
Yeah, I think for me it was a similar boat because somebody introduced me to Catan. I enjoyed it. I thought, wow, this is really interesting. What's going on here? But I think it was actually Kingsburg where I was like, I can play this game 100 times in a row.
Yeah.
So I think it was Ryan who actually introduced me to that one. I played 2 or 3 games before I played that one.
He still loves that one.
So the game that actually got me into liking board games was before Kingsburg, was To Court the King, which is out of print now.
Right.
Our friend Tom had introduced us to Catan and then
Did
brought
that one the
over
next week.
To Court the King, and I was like, this is amazing. There is so much thinking and strategy involved of manipulating dice. It was the first game I've ever played where you're manipulating pips on dice. I didn't even know that the term pip existed.
Right.
So, yeah. Like what?
The dot?
The dot on the dice? Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think To Court the King pushed me in, and then Kingsburg is still one of my favorite games.
Yeah, I think what happened for me, same thing. Like we played Catan, we played Kingsburg, or
To Court the King.
The version of the game he actually had, I don't think was a printed version. I think he had seen
Well,
it previously. He had like done a print and play of it, and so as we were playing it, I was like, these are pretty interesting mechanics. But it was just kind of ugly because it was like homemade. I mean, it wasn't bad. I think actually he might have made it. I shouldn't say that.
We
Did he
had
go back and print
the original
It's been so long.
that was borrowed from a friend, and it was kind of medieval looking art.
I think I know what you're talking about.
And it was kind of hard to read the cards. The art was okay. I mean, for that.
I don't remember being impressed. I remember thinking like Catan looks nice. This game is more fun, and then Kingsburg is where it all came together.
Yeah. Yeah, I liked his print and play version better than the original because he cleaned it up and made better iconography himself on some cards.
People are saying King of Tokyo in the comments. We got King of Tokyo right here. Speaking of dice, I think I grew up thinking, what do you do with dice? You roll them. But Sarah's right. It's like, oh, I can do other things with dice than roll them. I can
something more than Yahtzee.
Yeah, I can manipulate them, or I can, do stuff with them in board games. Now you have worker placement games with dice.
Yeah.
That definitely a little heavier on the heavier side, but yeah, this has a Yahtzee-like mechanic, King of Tokyo, and it's really easy to get people into the hobby because they already understand Yahtzee. So this is where you're battling monsters and things like that. So yeah, King of Tokyo is a good.
We got our neighbors into it through King of Tokyo.
Really?
Yeah.
That's a funny story too. She was just telling me the story.
Tell us the story.
Did you hear the story? Or did she just tell me the story?
You know what your neighbor's story is?
She said that they watched some TV show and they had, they had a game on it, and she was like, "This game looks so weird. What is this?" And then didn't realize months later.
I pulled it out because they have a son who's really into monsters and craziness. So I was like, "You will like this game," and I was babysitting them, so we played it, and their kids were like, "This is the best game ever!" And so then they borrowed it for 6 months, and then they finally got their own copy of it. So they were excited.
We should say Ryan is here with us because he's watching the kiddos.
He is.
At home.
He sacrificed.
I'm hoping the kiddos are sleeping.
Actually, I'm kind of sad, Ryan, that you're not here because Ryan has this great, totally legitimized hate of Catan.
He does.
And I wanted to hear him
go off on it
guts and tell us, pull out the soapbox.
Yeah.
I probably only played Catan maybe 3, maybe 4 times. It's not my thing. The negotiation aspect. I mean, you have the negotiation and the trading, and it's oh, my number didn't roll again.
I think that's the other thing.
Oh, my number rolled, but the rubber's on it. Oh, I don't have any sheep. Okay, I'm just gonna sit here.
Yeah.
So it could be that.
Yeah.
There are definitely other games. I like multiplayer. Solitaire? I don't want to have to bargain and have to
Well, Ryan's
convince
main
other
beef
people.
with the game is that if you don't get the best starting position, you can fail the rest of the game.
Yeah.
Sometimes there's no coming back from that start position.
Yeah.
One that has been sort of sprinkled in, people are commenting about, is Ticket to Ride. I think that is a very popular one. Catan has sold, I think, 25 million copies worldwide, whereas Ticket to Ride has sold, I think, a little over 10 million copies.
Yeah.
So when you're talking about it, that seems like a lot. 10 million is a lot, but 25 million, that's more than double.
Did you know it's the Catan 25th anniversary?
That's the crazy thing.
Yes.
1995. That's right.
Wow.
Crazy.
A little hard to believe.
So,
All right, so Jim says Catan does not sound like his kind of game. Jonah, refute.
Jim, what kind of game? Tell us in the comments what kind of games you like, and I'll tell you
Which
how
version of
that.
Catan
Yeah,
does-
which version of Catan you should be playing.
that's true. There are a lot.
I will say the version of Catan that I will play is the Star Trek Catan.
Okay.
Because it has those cards, like the different powers.
Are you talking about Starfarers of Catan?
No, it's actually
Okay,
Star
Star
Trek.
Okay.
I think it's original Star
The
Trek.
only version we have.
Your
the
ships are on
different,
little pedestals, so you
crew
can like
members.
fly in through the
Yeah, they're little enterprises. So kind of cool.
So that's the one I'm not playing. Got it. Okay, that's fine. But...
So I'm
Ticket to Ride, though, there's a lot of versions of just like Catan. Ticket to Ride has a lot of versions as well. This is the U.S. map, and Ticket to Ride, if you're not familiar with it, is you're collecting colored cards, laying trains to create different routes, or this one across America. And but the one that I think Melissa and I actually first played was the Europe version, which adds a little bit more in every map.
That was your first one? Was playing the European one?
Mm-hmm. We had some friends
Yeah.
that really liked it.
And we owned the Europe one for years and years and years before getting an actual copy of the US one.
Oh, okay.
So
I came across Ticket to Ride what I felt like was kind of late. Because a lot of people, that was their gateway game.
Mhm.
I was already really into games by the time I actually got to play Ticket to Ride. So, like I said, I kind of came into it late. I still really enjoy it, though. It's a lot of fun. The game that I think, the first time I remember seeing a game that even is a gateway game was I saw Agricola. And I didn't get to play it. I was watching my family play it. I came in too late to join. But I was like, what is this? This looks super interesting. And they were trying to explain it to me, and they made it sound super boring. Like, well, we have these people, and we got to feed them all the time. I was like, well, that doesn't sound nearly as fun as I thought it looked.
Does it look?
Yeah, and it was years before I actually got to play
it's one of
Agricola.
my favorite games. Better than Caverna.
But the game
Kevin.
that got
Been on
me
thin ice.
into it was
I agree.
Dominion.
Kevin.
That one's on our list too. One of our.
loved Dominion.
Dominion?
I played it in college, and everybody had all these different sets, and we just pull in all together late night, on the floor in our dorm rooms, and we played Dominion, and it was a lot of fun.
Jason said that Dominion was the one that sucked him in. So
Mhm.
there we go. Yes, we have most of the expansions. I think we might be missing the last one.
Yeah, the last one or two, but Kevin has a big case.
I
That they're on the
literally
list.
bought the artist case from Hobby Lobby. There's a wooden sort of artist
Oh,
case.
yeah. I know what you're talking about.
I figured you know what I'm talking
Yeah.
about. Right?
And you got inserts.
And I basically got an insert for it, and I can now have all the cards in that case.
Yeah.
That is a heavy case.
I bet it would be.
Yeah.
There are a lot of cards in the game and all the expansions. Man.
Now, you put together the survey, or you put out the Facebook post.
Yeah,
you
I
got
put
a lot of great responses.
Yeah, I actually did it on Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube, which there's a community tab on YouTube. If you're not familiar with it, you can check out our community tab. We post there at least once a week, and we tell you what's coming to our channel, so you can always go to our community tab. But I was surprised the number of people that were responding on all our social media platforms with, basically I just took a picture of games and said, what are some of your favorite gateway games? And it seemed like it got some good responses, so keep telling us.
There's so much nostalgia
Right.
for those, like, oh, I remember. It's like looking fondly back on your childhood. It's like, oh, I remember. It was so great. We had such a good time.
Now,
Yeah.
I think is this a secret? What else you guys are working on?
No, it's not a secret. This Tantrum Talks actually sort of was inspired by Melissa and I are working on a top 10 gateway games video, and we're doing something a little bit different. We'll explain that in the video, but it will be showing
There'll be more than 10 games.
in the video.
Surprise!
Surprise.
But what we're going to try and do is just maybe take some different categories. We can even talk about that tonight. Sometimes when you talk about gateway games, why is it a good game for someone might depend on what they like or what they don't like. Just like someone said they might not like Catan for this reason, but maybe they like the Ticket to Ride because they like trains, or maybe they like monsters like your neighbor friend had. So, yeah, there's also mechanics in games, and a lot of times that can draw you in as well.
Yeah.
Or being familiar with something like, oh, I know how to play dominoes. So something like King Domino isn't as
a stretch.
Yeah, it's easier to wrap your mind around it because you already know something kind of similar. I think Ticket to Ride with the set collection is similar to some games where you're trying to collect, suits of cards or things like that. So.
Pedro made a pretty awesome comment. He said, the game that got me into the hobby was Exploding Kittens, and then the first video I saw that engaged me into it was the Tantrum 2019 Top 10 House Video Awards. I literally started my collection with 5 of those games.
Awesome. Yeah, tell us what some of those games are. I'd love to hear what those are.
Someone mentioned Munchkin. Kevin and I actually played a lot of Munchkin in the beginning.
Yep.
We actually designed some of our own cards.
Yes.
The white elephant cards.
We did.
Kevin would draw them.
I drew a white elephant card that was basically if someone stole it from your hand, it was basically something you couldn't get rid of because it was a white elephant, so it was in your hand. And then another card I did was a monster coffee grinder for Melissa because she loves coffee, so coffee grinder monster. I remember those two.
Hilarious.
The cute turtle balloon bracelet.
That's true, we did that.
Oh.
Yeah.
I have to admit that the first time I played Munchkin, not a great experience. Almost turned me off of the hobby. Actually, this is a good story. The first time I played Munchkin was with Joel Mangan, one of the original founding members of Tantrum House, before he moved to Hong Kong and got cool jobs over there. We played it after maybe like a Super Bowl party, or I don't know what we were doing.
I think
we were
it was
playing the
New
game.
Year's Eve.
New Year's Eve.
So like after the ball dropped, we played Munchkin.
So
Oh, wow.
All the coffee was
Wow.
and we played the game, and I was like, I had it. This was the turn I was gonna win on. It was
not gonna happen.
Everyone murdered me, and then Joel
That's
sitting
the
right
point.
next to me. Right, exactly. I didn't know that though. First time. I should warn you. Joel sitting right next to me and wins because everybody used all their bad cards on me, and I was like, this is a stupid game. But then we did play a super cool version of it, which might have sucked me back in. I don't remember what it even was, but the Lego build-out version. It was like a year ago
it was
or
a
something.
custom. Yeah, it was a custom board.
Like Munchkin Quest or something.
Yeah, and it was basically regular Munchkin, but this guy had his own Lego board. It was 3D, and he had all these specialty
You could go to with your guy. Yeah,
it was
really
so cool.
That's cool.
It was
Michael asked if anyone's played Ace of Aces. I have not.
I am not.
Ace of Aces sounds interesting. Quadropolis and Dixit are good gateway games. David, I agree. Quadropolis is a good one. Dixit, I don't have Dixit here, but I think we
Dixit's
some of us
definitely
have.
popular
we have
one now.
Dixit at our house. Yeah.
Yeah,
We
I think
enjoy it.
one of the keys to a game being, I think there are several keys to a game being a good gateway
Tell
game.
us one of the keys.
And that's what I think we should do. I think we should all pick one. What do you
Okay.
think is like the number one, not taken by someone else already,
Okay.
thing
Going
that,
first,
okay.
'cause I have a game right here that just came in
Sarah's-
the mail today that shows off why I think this is a good gateway game.
Okay.
Just got Calico in the mail.
Okay.
It is the easiest game to teach as far as
What'd
what
do?
you do on your turn.
Okay.
So
You have
teachability is
you
your
have
number
2
one.
tiles and you play one of them anywhere.
Oh.
That's all you do on your turn.
Cool.
And you may score some points off of it, but if you don't,
Then you're not going to win.
You're not
That's
gonna
what
win,
she's saying.
but
on your next turn.
hopefully, yeah, and you can make it easier or harder. Like there's different things you can do for setup to make it an easy game or a hard game.
Yes.
So, yeah.
Okay.
This one just came in the mail. I was like, this is perfect to talk about tonight
Yeah,
because
it was on Kickstarter, and I think it's going to retail in October.
Through
yes,
AEG.
through
Yeah.
AEG. Yep.
Yeah, that
All
was
right.
a quick one. Like Kickstarter immediately published. It seemed like a fast one. Maybe I just don't remember when I actually played it, but it seemed like a quick turnaround. And now AEG's got it, so it's looking pretty.
All right. Well.
Oh, I have to get you
Oh, yeah.
I have like 13 points.
Okay,
so
so-
if anybody else wants to jump
so
in.
we should all go.
We should all go first.
Yeah,
We should all
I was
go
gonna say,
first.
second one that I have
Oh.
that follows that same
Wait.
category.
Hold on.
No, same category of
What about
very
easy rules?
teachable.
She's
It's
doing
cues
the
and
same
cues.
tip.
Oh, another game.
Oh, another
All right.
game.
Cues and
Okay,
cues.
that's acceptable.
Super easy. You give a one-word clue that doesn't have the rainbow color names.
Yeah.
That's all
Yeah,
you
I
do.
like Q's and Q's. That's
Very
good. That's
I
a
feel like
newer
that
game.
has the potential to become a mass market game, which is interesting. I don't even know where the line is getting blurry.
It is.
Like-
yeah.
The line is
Yeah.
blurry because
A lot of party games kind of
Yeah.
straddle
so
that.
in our top 10 gateway games, we will not be doing any party games like code names or Q's and Q's or.
But
things
Happy
like-
Salmon's got to be in there, right?
Happy Salmon's not in the list because it's a party game.
It is a party game, but it's a great one.
But we said at the very
I don't know
beginning,
why I had
there's
to
so
throw
many
that.
party games that are
Yeah.
great introductions, and I would say actually, even though we're not going to include it, party games are a very good introduction for gateway games.
Yeah.
Because it's easy to be like, oh, we're playing Codenames. All you have to do is be on a team. You just have to stand there and like be a part of it. You don't have to be like doing something. And I think that is a very good way of getting people into the hobby.
So
and I've done that.
Easy to get into and play.
Oh man.
What else you got? What do you got, Katie?
Yeah, I was gonna say it. Just the approachability. Like
Approachability.
you can keep the instructions to like a minimum.
So the rules, so you can go do a
the parts to a minimum and rules to a minimum. That makes it more approachable. Just in general, I think.
Totally agree with that, and that's actually one of the reasons I think Catan is a rough intro game.
I think
Because
so too.
the setup for it is like not solid and fun. But
I
don't
mean,
like you guys
you've
anymore.
never heard Jonah
No.
give instructions to a game before,
Now,
obviously.
I do think there is a difference between being taught a game by someone who loves it and knows it, and picking a game
Off the shelf.
from the store and teaching it to yourself.
That's
so
true.
I think Catan would be hard to just teach yourself.
So, yes.
But
Like Q's and Q's.
But it's easy
someone
to learn
could-
from
right.
somebody.
So my point doesn't really have anything to do with the games, but I'm gonna say it's about who you play with.
Yes.
You gotta play with the right people.
Sure.
Yeah.
because they gotta love what they're
Uh-huh.
doing. Yeah.
So like
That's
in,
why
so
the demoers are important.
yeah, so like Melissa just said, in
conventions.
my house, if we play a game with my family, and my family loves games, and we all in my family kind of started to Catan, but I have to read the rules and then explain how to play, or else they won't
you're
play.
bequeathed with it.
And I think it's
literally.
because I can like clearly tell them how to play, like Katie said, at a minimum, and you can play without having to go through like this 10-page rule book
Right, so you're
and
distilling
get
it down for them.
confused, right?
That's cool.
So it's I think it's about who you play with.
All right.
That is
That's a
big.
good answer.
That is
Chantal, you have
really big.
anything?
I mean, they took all my answers.
I know you're
Well, what?
making us go last.
Well, depending on the gamers, sometimes cooperative games can be a little easier to get people into because kind
You're
of like
helping them.
what you were saying, you're playing
Yeah.
together on a team and it's not the competitiveness. Some people are put off by competitiveness, especially if they are new to a game and feel like they can't compete at the level. So
Yeah.
things like Pandemic, Forbidden Island, Horrified,
Yeah.
games that are cooperative can be a good step into the hobby.
Betrayal on the House on the Hill. It's a little heavy, Cade says, but he would count as entry level. I think the nice thing about Betrayal on the House on the Hill, you're all doing something together.
Yeah.
The tricky part is when someone becomes the traitor,
They have to basically.
and then they're by themselves, and they have to figure out
What to
the
do, and
somewhat confusing
but
rule book.
I
Right.
think the new Scooby-Doo version will make that a gateway game for sure. Because
So-
I think it makes it
I'll
approachable.
say I do have friends who that was their gateway game, was the Betrayal at House on the
Yeah.
Hill.
Jim says
Yeah.
Wingspan, and I would say here's the thing. I personally don't think Wingspan is a gateway game, but in a sense it is because of the theme. It's getting someone into the hobby, and I think that's another thing
Theme.
for games.
You're getting them all right. Good job.
And the theme is a great one because, like I said earlier, trained people might just love that nostalgia. Wingspan, the birds are beautiful. You just want to, want to play it because even though it might be a little heavy, you're like, I'm going to play it because I think this is an interesting theme.
Right.
So I think theme is a huge
Yeah.
thing.
Oh, and there's
Yeah.
the new, both of the Back to the Future games that are cooperative,
Yeah, so you're gonna see a
and they're a theme that a lot of people like.
So Target is pushing out a bunch of new games that are almost like Target exclusives, and they're going to be a lot of IP, intellectual property games, and you're going to see people buy the games off the Target shelf because of whatever that theme is, like Back to the Future. And hopefully they're going to be simpler rule set to get them into the hobby so that then they can buy Agricola or other heavier games. So
I definitely agree with that. I think theme is one of the things that sets most Euro games, or not Euro games, but most hobby games aside from Scrabble and Uno and
Monopoly.
Monopoly.
Yeah.
which
Sure.
kind of
So
has
all
are
the games
almost-
that I played.
Right. Well, I mean, we all started there.
Oh,
but
yeah.
but
We
then
all
you play a
started
game and
there.
you're like, this game has like a cool
Phase
story to
10,
it.
skip
Oh,
it.
I don't have to just move letters. Like, this is a real,
Yeah.
I think that's part of what draws people into the hobby is cool characters, great illustrations, nifty worlds.
King of Tokyo.
Yeah.
Alright, I've got a question. Are we
Yeah.
counting Wavelength as a gateway game?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I think
I
so.
don't see that
That's
falls
a
into that
party
party
game.
thing again.
Yeah.
But,
Oh my goodness.
But party games usually are going to be gateway games.
Yeah. So I really like that one, and I think that could be a great gateway game for a lot of folks. It's nice and easy, simple rule set.
Yeah, I
play
think
with
there's
right folks.
Right, it's
Yeah.
a super fun game
Yeah.
in general.
Yeah.
Like there's no like having to suck you into a hobby to be able to play that one. That's
Right.
just oh yeah, this has got cool components and
Yeah.
sign me up.
Is Risk considered a gateway game?
Risk would
I
be
mean,
more mass market.
okay, because
I
I
would
was
say
like,
that's right on the edge. Like that's
I played Risk and I really
Risk is
enjoy it.
Not a gateway game to me.
Yeah,
You could gateway for Risk.
No.
You could be in Risk
Oh.
for like 8 hours.
Yeah, I think
Days,
Risk,
yeah, days
Risk
worth
is
of
one of those
Risk.
games that's so well known just in general. That's why it would probably be
Kind of
considered mass market because,
Gotcha.
like Monopoly,
Right,
like
Small
things
World.
people know about it. I would say Small World might be the next step up
Yeah,
for people who
it's
like Risk.
Very similar
You
to
play this
Risk.
I've not played that
No.
one.
Small World
We
is
need to play Small World.
a great gateway game for people who like Risk.
Mhm.
So-
Yeah, it is a little more complex than some of them, but you know, if they like Risk and kind of understand that, it's
Jared
Step up.
says
Yeah.
Draftosaurus. That's a really cool one
That's
because
cool.
basically you're just holding wooden dinosaurs and drafting them around.
So I have another category
Mhm.
Oh.
of gateway games. The one under Small World reminded me of it.
Oh,
a lot of
yeah.
people play apps.
Can I turn
And-
this one up?
yeah.
Is it gonna spill?
It won't spill.
Good luck, maybe.
Don't.
Games that mimic apps
Yes.
are another way to pull people in.
Yeah.
Potion Explosion and the
What was
can
Sugar Blast.
Sugar
is
Blast
coming.
is
Coming out this
another
fall.
one.
Yeah.
There was
That-
there was another one that was like a gym thing.
Gym.
Oh
Hunt is not it.
no, it is
Jim.
Party Gems.
I don't remember.
Super.
It-
No.
So many
Ugh,
names.
It's from Pencil First Games.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
Gem pack cards.
Gem Pack
There we
Cards.
go, yeah.
That one is based on an app or
Mhm.
Yeah.
it is
Similar mechanic.
similar mechanic as an app. And I think that's another way if you have somebody who plays a lot of app games like Candy Crush,
Mhm.
you can pull them in.
Yeah.
So the question someone has is, do we still play gateway games?
Yes.
Okay.
Play
Yeah.
a lot of gateway
I think the
games.
gateway games in my life especially got the most plays. Like I just played them so much
Yeah.
that I always love to go back and play it just for old time's sake. Like,
Yeah.
like you just feel good inside when you,
Nostalgia.
yeah, when you play
And
it.
you're like, this is a game I know how to play. I
Yeah.
don't have to refresh on the
Right.
rules. 'Cause
So comfy.
It's
It's
a-
a comfy.
It's his
Uh-huh.
cuddle blanket.
Yeah.
He's like,
One of the reasons I find myself playing them a lot is because they are so good to introduce people to. So it's a whole lot easier to teach them a game that they're going to be able to grasp. than
so
to
am I
go through the
renaming our
crazy-
top 10 gateway games to top 10 cuddle blanket games?
Cuddle
Cuddle
blanket
blanket
games.
games. We just played Ticket to Ride the other day with some friends.
The
Now we
Pennsylvania
did
map.
play the Pennsylvania map, which
Yeah.
is a bit of a step up because it has stocks, but
Yeah.
you know it is based on Ticket to Ride.
Amy says, hello from Ohio. Hello, OH.
I owe.
Okay. Michael says, how about Lanterns? I think Lanterns is a great gateway game. The only thing I would say, it's only up to 4, I know a lot of games are up to 4 players, but it's very like a relaxed game in some ways, although you can sort of be mean in some ways too.
You can get
But I think Lanterns is a great gateway
Yeah,
game.
it has a
because
nice pace to it. Which
the
is
one nice thing I like about Lanterns, that a lot of these other games don't have, is that everyone's involved every single turn.
Yes.
Because when you're playing a lantern tile, everyone's getting cards, which I love that in games. I don't know if it's
a
a...
game sound effect
Yeah.
every time you hit one of my qualifying.
yeah. So like games with low amounts of downtime can be good
Yeah.
for
There we
people
go.
learning where it's
You have
not
a
like
list back there or something?
20
Just in my mind.
minutes before your next turn.
I have
so
a game though
Yeah.
that
I gotta
fits
agree with
every
that.
criteria that I'm about to whip out. Are we ready for it?
Not yet, not
Oh,
yet.
not yet.
Oh,
Because you have
okay.
to give any more criteria.
Yeah, okay, so let me give some more. Here we go. Here are the things. Here's the correct answer.
Sure, Will, sure.
Right.
For what you need. I think you need a game that, yeah, easy to teach, for sure. You need to be able to just bust it out and, like, within 3 or 4 sentences, they know generally what's going on. I think the theme is important. I think there's got to be something to it that lures them into it. I think it needs to be something that you can play over and over, honestly. Like, even, like, as soon as you finish, let's play it again. Now I understand it. I want to try it right now.
Jonah already said that. That's the comfy blanket
Yeah,
thing.
yeah. I think it needs to be something where there's like a kind of maybe a built-in expansion to it, so that when you do play
I was
it,
going to say Happy Santa.
you play it. Yes, maybe there's an expansion, although it could.
It does have a Happy
Oh,
It
it
does.
does?
It
The Funky
does.
Chicken?
The Funky Chicken's expansion.
I think it needs to be like in the box, so that like you played it once, but you didn't get like the full experience.
Alright.
Like there's more to it that you can take home and play.
Alright,
So it's
yeah.
kind of like levels. You can
Right,
level
like,
up as
like
you
you tried it, but there's even more. Just wait. I think it also needs to be, I think this is crucial, we haven't said this at all. My opinion is that it should be a game that's not on Walmart shelves, so that when the person has a great time and decides to go buy it, they have to go to your friendly local game store, which I think is a crucial step in getting into the hobby.
Oh, I didn't think about that.
Right?
Marketing side, you're thinking about the
I mean, not really
marketing
marketing,
side.
I'm just thinking like,
That's a marketing thing.
well, I remember like walking past the game store in the mall and thinking, it looks intimidating in there. Like, those people know what they're doing. That game is so complex, I don't even know. I don't really think I'm gonna go in there, and I never did. But then, as soon as I had like played 1 or 2 games that were in the store, then like I had a reason to go in and be like, do you guys have such and such? Oh yeah, it's right here. And then like they point out all these other cool things that are on the shelf beside it, and you get introduced to this whole world of stuff that you wouldn't have otherwise. So I think it's got to be just off the beaten path enough. You can't just walk past it in Walmart. You gotta push them to the game.
All right, what else?
I think the art has to be good. Like,
That's true.
it doesn't have to be phenomenal, but I think that is a big part of it.
Mm-hmm.
And
Has
I
to
think,
attract you.
in addition to what I just said about the store, I also think that if it has like a really low price point, that's really helpful. Because if I play Settlers of Catan, which is what, $35? How much is Catan?
I think
Who
it's
knows?
more
I
than
think it's
that.
like
Is it
50.
four?
I think it's like
$40,
$50, yeah.
Woo! Yeah, you tell me that, I'm like, I don't know, it was fun.
Yeah.
But if I give you a game that costs $8, then like there's no reason that you aren't gonna go buy
I'm
it.
so interested to know what game
Right?
is about to
Right?
Yeah.
flip out.
Hold up.
I'm very interested.
So it's
I'll say
attractive.
I
It's
probably
not
agree
at
with you.
Walmart.
This game better fit all of these criteria.
I know what it is.
Okay.
I know what it is.
When you play it, and so the other thing is, I say this from experience, I've taught this game to, I don't know, 50 people, and 49 of them have reported back like, oh yeah, I went and bought that game after you showed it to
I know
us.
what it is.
Are we ready? Are we ready there? I
And
think I
it's
have more
not
points.
happy
Wait,
Santa.
before you say it, let's see if anybody can guess in the chat.
Okay, let me
And
keep going then. I'll give you
I
more.
almost said
Will
this
is
was
not
fun.
It's
promoting
not Steam Core.
Larry is not Steam Core. His Steam
I
Core
wish
is
that figured
super
that out.
expensive.
It's cheaper than Catan, apparently.
That-
Is
actually,
it
before
$8 really? Because
Probably.
Okay.
Maybe 11.
Okay, anyway.
It has to be
The price
hard,
is right.
So,
Hard-
so we're
hard
doing
or
it.
tile only then.
I gotta have higher playability. Keep going. What do you got?
Now I was gonna say the price point is important, and Melissa and
I
I,
thought another one.
Melissa and I are doing the top 10 gateway game video that's coming out soon. That is actually really important. We were actually picking games in the top 10 that will be under $50. So because there are some, and I think we haven't mentioned it though. Parks from Keymaster Games is a wonderful gateway game, but it's $50 to $60. So I mean, it's a beautiful game. And I think it's a great game for once you are playing and you're
You
okay
need
to
some cool
spend
stuff in your collection.
yeah, this is a perfect gateway game, except the price point. That's the one thing it just missed. It missed our list.
Yeah.
But it's going to be in the honorable mentions. So.
Spoilers.
Spoilers.
One of the other things that I think is really important, and we've mentioned it in a lot of these games, is I think it needs to introduce them to some type of game mechanic that they've never seen before.
Okay.
Because I think when you play a game that, like, what? Pips? I didn't know but you could manipulate them.
All right, keep guessing in the chat.
When there's something like that in the game where
I'm
it's
trying
like,
to think.
like, I've played games my whole life. I've never seen anything
I don't
like this.
think either of these are right, Jim or Jared, but keep guessing. They're guessing point salad and spot
Oh, I think I know exactly what
Do you
it
know
is.
it?
It just took me a minute, but I think I got it.
Yeah, you probably do. Let's see. Anything
So
else in it
there's another game I'm thinking of that probably
that
fits.
fits all these categories?
I don't know what it is. Have I played it? I really want to guess.
I
You
don't
wanna
know.
guess?
if
You
you
should
play-
guess.
I feel like you probably
I feel like I
have.
should have played it with you, but I don't know if I
I
did.
don't know if we
it. Do you own it?
I definitely
You
own it.
does.
I own it.
You
and I
know-
definitely
you know what
recommended
it
to you.
is.
Okay.
You
When
do.
you were like, I need some games for my family, but
Okay.
if you didn't take it, I definitely had it in the stack. Like, you should take this one.
Okay.
I know what it is. I'm
I know
really
what
shocked
it is.
that it's
Short
not
rule book that
this
you
one.
can read through real easy. Oh, it is cooperative, which I agree is a great comment.
That's
that
why I didn't
Melissa
play
made
it.
earlier. That's probably why.
That's why I
Yeah.
didn't play it, because it's
It's a
cooperative.
Yeah.
co-op
So
game
you can
that's
help
like
people
$11.
help play through it and get them on board. Like
So one that's
on a
not
hard
co-op
turn.
that I'm thinking of is Sushi Go.
Oh, that's a good
Most
one.
people,
Oh, that's a
it's
good one, yes.
fun, cute art. The rules aren't that difficult. You do have to explain all the cards, so sometimes the first play is a learning game for beginner gamers.
Better
but
not be the mind because that has no theme.
Nope.
Okay.
not
We have the mind and Flux.
Flux is in co-op though, so.
I
All
played
right.
Flux recently, like a month ago.
Which
and
one? Base
Just
Flux.
Flux, and
Okay.
won. We played like 5 people. By the time it got to my turn, I won in the first turn, and
Yeah,
I was
happy.
like,
That occasionally happens.
Flux can last
Yeah.
5 minutes
Wait,
or
no.
45 minutes.
Yes.
In the box.
Zombie Flux is kind of interesting.
That's my favorite one.
I do-
I
do like-
You have creepers coming.
I like zombie
There's
flux.
also like a Star Trek flux and a Doctor Who
It's got so many
flux.
fluxes. Yeah. Sorry. Okay. Give us another little hint about
Another
this
little
game.
hint. I like the portability of it, so like it doesn't take up shelf space.
It's hitting
Bring it
everything.
Small box.
You figured
Everything
it out?
I'm
You know what it
thinking
is?
of.
You
says-
got it?
Somebody
And the art-
has said Hanabi.
It's not. I mean, the Hanabi's got a theme, but I don't like the art to it. I mean, it's okay.
It's
Oh my
It's upside down.
It's Hanami!
goodness! He was holding it for
I
us to
think-
see.
So let me give you my 2-second spiel on. I agree that the artwork could be better.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's probably the weakest part of the game. My favorite part of this game is when I teach. Have you played it yet?
No.
Oh. My favorite part about this game is
No,
that the
he said
theme
the other day he didn't play it. Now I think
explains
about
the game. So the theme for this game is that we are all trying to bring, we're trying to put together a fireworks show to satisfy the Emperor.
Yes, we did.
And-
we did play this.
And
yes.
right before we were about to put
Let
on
me
the
see this
show,
game.
the lights went out. Somebody tripped over the fireworks. I always
Yeah.
say it the same way. Somebody tripped over the fireworks, and I always look at Sarah like,
I have
it's her
not
fault.
played this.
People always laugh, and then I
played
say,
it here.
and so in the dark with our cards facing away from us,
What?
we have to
Yeah.
put the cards in order. Did you play this?
I don't think
I might have not played it.
I
Maybe it's
remember.
the
I
first time.
remember playing
We need
this
to
here.
play
though.
it after we finish this, just so
Well, we
you
can
know
play
what
it.
we're talking about.
So cards facing away from you is such a unique thing. It
Yep.
blows people's minds.
Mhm.
It's cooperative, so you teach them how to play it on the first 2 turns. You can cheat through it as much as the audience wants to. Like, we played with some people that are like, no, we're not cheating. And then other people are like,
They're like,
every turn.
Every time.
Becca. So
So-
that part of it makes it fun too. So
Rich guessed
that's my
Hanabi.
go-to. Good job, Rich.
All right, that wasn't the one I was
NB
thinking.
No,
Gaming.
no.
Neverboard Gaming.
I was
also.
thinking the
NB
Don't
board
Mess with
gaming.
Cthulhu.
That's like my next one.
Actually-
Because I was like, it's hitting a lot of those things. As soon as you said cooperative, I was like, well, it's cooperative for everybody who's on the teams together.
I
What-
think Hanabi's a great one.
It
One of the
is,
things I like
yeah.
about it is it's not an expansion, but there are cards in the deck that are the all color cards. And so I never play that with people the first time I play the game.
Mhm.
But right when we
Oh,
finish
yeah.
Played it.
You have
Right,
played it?
When you said that, I played it.
right when we finish, I
Okay.
explain like, oh, and these up the game experience even more. And then they're always like, oh yeah, I want to buy it now.
But now you can buy that at.
You're,
Is
you
it at
call
Walmart?
that- It's at Target.
Oh, Target.
It is.
Thanks for being awesome, Target.
So just boop, dropped off the.
Man, I gotta find a new one. I do
Yeah.
tell people to
That-
go to their local game store to get it though, which also works.
That's true.
Yeah.
But Hanabi is a great choice, Will. Honestly, it's good. I think the one thing, I think the art is.
I wish
okay.
it was a little more awesome.
It is just a card game, so to me, it is a gateway game. I think it's a great one. But I think when I think board game, gateway game, I don't go right to a card game
I
first.
agree.
So,
Yeah.
but I love the mechanic.
Right?
But
Because-
you agreed with my Dominion. That's
Right.
a card game.
Yeah.
It's a little bit.
There's a little
bigger.
more card because
There
now
are
It's
a
just
ton
cards.
of there are a ton of
Now
cards,
you have
but they're
token-
only cards.
yeah, I have tokens in
You
mind.
get the
Oh
30
my
expansions.
Expansions.
You gotta have 10 expansions.
The interesting thing about Hanabi is when I explain games and it uses that same mechanic, because there are games that now use the Hanabi.
The Hanabi mechanic.
That's what you say now.
It's
say,
like
oh,
yeah, it's
the
like Hanabi.
And they're like, what? I'm like, oh, was where you? Oh, yeah. So I think Hanabi either won a spiel or was nominated for a spiel. So.
It's my go-to. I'm sure there are probably better ones. And actually, Jonah hit on the nail on the head. Like, I don't think that there is, I'm going to ruin it, I don't think that there is one perfect gateway game because I think you have to kind of judge your audience. And if your audience hates co-op games, then you play something else with them first, and then you...
That's why I played it but didn't remember.
I
don't like board
like
games.
black that one out.
Yeah.
Block that one. So Jim said Azul. I think Azul is a very good gateway game because of
Pretty.
it's so pretty,
I
and
do
even the
think
components.
The one thing about Azul is you need somebody to teach it
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
first time.
The
Yeah.
scoring
Yeah.
is a little.
It's a little difficult
Yeah.
when you're just reading the rules to understand what's going on.
Mhm.
Amy brings up an excellent point. There is actually a deluxe version of Hanabi that uses tiles. So much pretty.
Oh yeah, they're like domino tiles.
Yeah.
It is very pretty.
And you don't have to accidentally like look at your cards when you move and stuff.
Yeah, that,
Accidentally.
Hanabi, I'm always
You
accidentally
pick it up
like,
just like out of habit.
I know, and do that at least once a game. Like, okay, never mind. Sorry.
So another little sneak peek at Melissa and my top 10 list that we're putting together for the gateway games is we are, for instance, doing Ticket to Ride as an example, but then we're trying to find a simpler version of that game whether it's the mechanic, the theme, or something like that. So for instance, for Ticket to Ride, a simpler game is Transamerica, because Transamerica, all you're doing is has the same theme, it has that route building to it, but all you're doing on your turn is taking these little black track tiles and you're just laying them down. You don't have to, there's no set collection going on, so it's the same idea, but just a simpler version. So if, even Ticket to Ride is like, oh, there's just too much going on, collecting things, putting things down, we're going to hopefully in our video make a simpler version of every single
So I'm sure you already have what they're mentioning, which is Sushi Go, which is a great introduction to Seven Wonders, because you're still doing, it's all the same drafting and set collection.
Yep, the drafting
but
is key.
Seven Wonders just explodes it with.
What about the other way, Kevin? What about if this was your gateway game? Here's the
next level,
more advanced game. That
probably be a different video.
Yeah, the next level games is what we're
next
calling
steps.
Ooh,
next level.
I love it.
Next level games.
Next level games.
What's the next level for Ticket to Ride?
I don't have to think about that one.
Is it Power Grid?
Power Grid does have some route building going on, so yeah, it's a good one. Maybe.
Yeah.
Whistle Stop.
One of the games
Whistle
we have,
Stop is a good one.
One of the games I have that I pulled out that's down on the floor is if there are some
down
people who War Chest.
Oh, War Chest. Like if you like chess.
If you like chess, you may not play other board game type games. This one has the same idea. Every character moves
Holding it.
in a different way.
Kevin's
Like
ever
this
gotten
is
to.
play War Chess.
I would love to play this game someday.
But
play
you
with
like
Jonah.
chess,
He
and
always
Anyone who's
wins.
played it loves it.
It sounds
I like it.
amazing. Sounds amazing. Maybe someday. It's heavy. These tokens are.
It has the
It's got the
expansion
expansion
in
in
there
there,
too.
so it's extra heavy.
Cool.
Jim is asking which is easier, Azul or Sagrada?
I'd say Sagrada.
I don't know.
Easier?
Sagrada has the tools, and then you score differently based on cards. Whereas
think
Azul,
Azul
you
is
score
a
the
lot
same.
easier.
Because all you're doing is
I
grabbing
played
and
I played
yeah.
Sagrada for the first time over here earlier this week, and played Azul like 2
With
days
the family.
ago.
Yeah.
Azul's
And
easier?
so I
What's your
played both of
experience?
them in the last week.
And Jonah
I'm
says?
saying
Verdict is
Azul is easier.
Yes.
Okay.
Azul
I agree.
is easier.
It's on my list. It's on my list.
Okay.
By the end of this video, they'll know every game on our list.
No.
I know.
You'll be surprised. You'll be surprised, definitely.
Karuba. Karuba's a great one. That's
neat
a simultaneous play game where kind of bingo style, one person pulls a tile, everyone places that same tile on their board, trying to get to the temples first.
we played.
I just figured out that Amy Eggs is Amy Estrella.
You did.
Oh,
Hey, Amy.
Ohio was the first clue, and then we just played the new.
I can't see the pictures. 'cause
Sagrada
they're so small.
expansion.
Yeah.
That's not a
That's
gateway
not a
game,
gateway
but it's,
game at all.
but
The
it's
life,
pretty
the
neat.
life expansion.
Yeah.
You guys are gonna work on a preview video for that.
And it adds these new like orange dice that you have to like they have arrows on them, and you have to line up your window like with matching stuff. It was pretty cool.
I like Jamaica, Michael. Jamaica's a really fun game. Have you all played Jamaica? It's like a racing game where you have your own sort of pirate ships going around
Yeah.
the board.
I haven't played that.
It's really beautiful. I love the box. I love the game board.
The rules are actually like a fold-out map, which sounds kind of cool, but functionally
Yeah,
is
it
a
didn't work.
little
Didn't work.
awkward when you're trying to look at a rule and you have to.
Okay, racing category. Got Jamaica, Downforce, and Camel Up. Never board gaming. Yes, we have Camel Up down here. I would put Camel Up also in the sort of betting category as well, because you're sort of like betting on the different camels.
That's one that we used as a gateway game to get Ryan's sister and her family into gaming.
I have
They
only
really
played.
like that one.
Jim is asking about. Oh, sorry. Someone's asking about. Rich is asking about Azul, the different Azul games. I've only ever played the base game.
I've played the
Same.
second one, the Sintra,
Okay.
and that one's more complex.
I've heard the third one is the best. That's what everyone keeps saying. But it might just be because it's newer. I don't know. I love the base game. It's easy to grab tiles, put them in your floor.
I saw several people, I think, on the Facebook post suggested Century Spice Road or whichever one.
You might see
Spice
Century
Road.
Spice Road on our video.
I have not played. Have you played them all together?
I've not.
I've not
I
done
don't
that,
think
but
we have the third version.
No.
We have the first and second.
I've wanted to try that. That's on my to-do list because I've enjoyed them individually, and I'm curious to see what craziness that turns into.
So talk to Emerson.
Yeah. Do you play them? Do you know? Do you just literally play all three of them at the same time?
There are special rules to incorporate the three.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting stuff.
Do you remember the first games or games you bought? Hannah's asking. So,
That's a good question.
Games I bought after I got into the hobby were probably like the Ticket to Ride, the Dominion, and then Dominion had all the expansions. So those are the ones I remember buying.
Agricola, Power Grid,
Puerto Rico.
Those
are ones that we initially definitely bought.
Yeah, Small World was definitely one of the first ones that I bought. That one just sucked me in on the art. I knew nothing about the game.
Small World?
Yeah, but except that maybe it was a little bit like Risk. I think that was like the entirety of the description I got. And I was like, alright, sounds cool. I'm gonna get this one.
So I'm gonna speak for Ryan. One of his first game that pulled him in was Race for the Galaxy.
Oh, yes.
Which is not a gateway game at all.
No.
But that's what sucked him in.
But Ryan didn't stick anywhere close to gateway games as his favorite. He moved on to the I need 15 pages of I need a rule book and not a rule pamphlet. And
I need a rule book with an appendix book to explain stuff.
Yeah, and like the 3-4 hour long games, those are the ones he wants to play.
Yeah, I remember playing a lot of Cosmic Encounter with Ryan.
Oh, that's another game. I've only played it once, and I have no desire to play it again because it's negotiation and
teaming up
and backstabbing and reading other players and trying to figure out what's going on.
Sounds fun.
Let me push cubes and lay trains and manipulate dice.
Yeah.
Don't make me try to interact and manipulate
Ryan's
you.
like, I want to love this game, he said, but I always get crushed at the end when I can't convince anybody to help me.
He does always say that. He's like, I love this game, but I never
I feel like
nobody
a game that we
ever
should bust out that we have not, we've only played it once or twice, is Diplomacy. This is not a
I don't
gateway
have
game,
the
but it is
time for
brutal.
that.
It is brutal, but
that's a game that you play over like a long
24-hour game.
No, not even over a day. You actually you play it over like months.
Yeah.
And then you actually come back to it. So
I don't know. The 2 times I've played, it ended pretty quickly.
Michael says Summer Pavilion, which is the third in the Azul series, is fantastic, but definitely harder. Neverboard Gaming is Star Realms making the cut for Gateway Deck Builder. You have to check our video out for that one, but that's a great one.
I'm gonna throw this out here just because we have used it as a gateway game, and it's been surprising that you wouldn't think of it.
Zombicide!
I
knew you were gonna say that.
You would not believe all of
But you're co-op. You're working together.
Yeah, all of my brother-in-laws, we would try to get people to play games with us when we would go back and visit my family, for holidays, and they weren't super excited to play.
Did you guys paint your miniatures?
No.
Paint them
I know,
so
we do.
good.
We do.
Painted.
But we pulled out Zombicide, and we were just excited about it when we first got it. And we pulled it out, and we're like, nobody's gonna want to play this with us, but we'll pull it out anyway. Yeah, and then they were like, what's this? And we're like, oh, we're fighting zombies. They're like, oh, zombies. You're like, yeah, you run them over with this car, you can shoot them with this, gun here, or pick up a chainsaw. And they're like, oh yeah, I think I'm gonna play. And so we actually played a lot of games of Zombicide, and not just with my brother-in-laws, but then some of Ryan's friends that are not gamers, they got into Zombicide.
Out of all the versions of Zombicide, I think the one that appeals to me, even though I've only played it once, I've only played Zombicide once, and it was the version that I sort of oh, it's kind of interesting themes, the Zombicide Black Plague, just the medieval theme.
I think a lot of people really like Black Plague, and it the theme is more appealing to a lot of people, but it's also the rules on it were a little bit streamlined from the original.
And then they said, and then you played Invader, which you liked even more.
Yeah, that's like a step up. It adds a little bit of different stuff because it adds things that destroy the terrain and
then you have the outside of the inside. It was just kind of interesting. So
yeah, I think that's another example of Joe was saying earlier, I've never seen Ryan so giddy about a game that it pulls you in when you contagiously love the game, which I think is part of the Hanabi thing for me. Is I'm like, this is so great, you guys, you're gonna love it.
Yeah.
If you have that level of excitement, it makes almost any game could be a gateway game.
It really, yes, agreed. And that goes back to what he was saying with the excitement and stuff. But that's why I'm going to say this over and over again. That's why you have to have good demoers at conventions.
Yep. When they have conventions.
I have, yes. Whenever we have conventions again, you have to have good demoers, because I've played games and been like, this is the worst game. I can't believe anybody would want to play this. But I played with people who were upset or angry or didn't explain the rules well, and I was just like, oh.
No, this could be a whole other video topic in general, but I think there is like a right way to teach a game.
Oh yeah.
And there are like pretty specific steps to doing that. And I don't know why, like I don't know if, we all agree, right? That is a thing.
Oh yeah.
Do we all agree on what those steps are?
Probably not.
No, probably not.
I think it depends. Like, if I'm teaching a game to my friends, I'm probably gonna talk about almost all the rules and explain it out. If I'm at a convention demoing, you want to get people into the game as quickly as possible. So I think there are potentially different ways to teach a game and get someone into it, depending on the purpose and who you're playing with.
Right. They're not playing to win. They're playing to learn the game or understand.
I play to win every
Right.
even a demo.
I always play to win.
But in a convention setting, you only have 30 minutes and you're not going to play the whole game.
That doesn't matter. I agree.
I'm playing to, if I have to be honest, if someone's explaining the game to me and they don't tell me how to win in like the first 2 sentences, I have to, I will take the rule book from you.
Tell me what I must do to win.
Yeah, if you, okay, so
get the most donuts done.
Like, no. How do I win first?
You move the track, all your victory point tracks, into the parchment area of the pendulum.
Right.
Yeah.
So, all I need to know. You gotta have it all in the parchment.
Tell me what the win condition is, and then I will filter every rule through. All right, now I can do, that's what I have to do to win. That's what I have to do. I can ignore that. I have to do to win.
I very much agree with that. I think that is key to being able to help people, what you're saying, like form their strategy. If you tell me all the minutiae and the rules and like I don't know what the purpose is, yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I do that. I'm like, I do that to Ryan sometimes when he's the kind of person who reads the rules all the way through and then explains it to me. I'm like, stop. Tell me, what is the purpose of this game? What point do I have to get to say I won?
About to say that. Have you ever been listening to rules and forgotten to pay attention, and then you have to stop that person like a minute in? Oh, I'm sorry, I wasn't paying attention. How do I win again? And so you can go back because I can't filter anything you just said because I don't know how to win.
Yeah. That's a very common way to do it too. Like when they're doing a terrible job explaining it, just butt in like, I think I missed it. How do I win? No, I didn't say that yet. How do I win? Give me the deets. I need the information.
Cool. We should, before we say goodbye, once again thank our sponsor, Burnt Island Games. They have some heavier games like Endeavor. And they have.
Although Endeavor is an easy one to teach, and it makes sense as you play. It looks very overwhelming, so it's not the best gateway game. It is. I'm sorry. But that is one of my favorite ones to demo because the game makes sense and it explains it as you go.
Yeah, that
so you just jump in and start playing immediately.
Cool. That was something that I think is good for gateway games, just games in general, ones that have good player aids, where it walks you through a turn, or it kind of explains some of those rules that you might glaze over, but then you can look down and go like, oh, those are the 3 actions I can take, or these are the phases of the game, or this is what all the icons mean. Okay, great. So you can keep going back to that.
I have opened a box one time that said, start here. I was like, oh, convenient. But you know, so I was like, oh, that's nice.
And it is amazing how that simple thing, like just one sheet with 10 words on it, can make a game that's crazy hard to play. Like, so
approachable.
I love games with player aids and stuff too, because I played enough games. It's like I don't actually need you to read anything that's on this player aid. I need to know all the other, like how to get the bonuses at the end. That's what I need to know, because I'll figure out what I can do on a turn.
On my turn.
Because this player aid is right in front of me.
Some people are heading out. Thanks for sticking around. Daniel said thank you for introducing some of these new games. So definitely, I would love to hear, if you're watching this now or later, in the comments, let us know what topics you'd like us to cover for Tantrum Talks. I think we really enjoyed covering those gateway games, so we're always looking for interesting topics about board games. What do you want to know? What do you think we could fill an hour talking about? And let us know in the comments what your thoughts are on that.
Yeah, and when do you expect our video, maybe, to go
Yeah,
live.
so hopefully, Lord willing, Melissa and I will be recording that video tomorrow.
The Gateway top.
Top 10 Gateway games, and probably in the next week or two that'll be live on our channel. So
Keep on chatting because I forgot to find the outro video, so you gotta keep on making we should talk about the Gen Con thing because.
Okay, yes. So not this Saturday, but next Saturday, August 1st. I believe we're starting at 10 a.m. Eastern time. Might be 11 a.m., but either 10 or 11 a.m. Eastern time. CGE is still working on that, but we are partnering with Czech Games Edition, CEG, and we're playing a bunch of their games. And we're going to be playing them for 8 hours from like 10 a.m. to 5 or 6 p.m., whatever that 8 hours is. And we're going to be playing fun games like Adrenaline.
Well, hopefully they're all fun.
They're all going to be fun. Sanctum is one of their newer games, and then I know
Butter Jam and...
Yep, we have Galaxy Trucker.
that's
on
going to be an
the list.
interesting one to watch. Galaxy Truckers is fun for, you don't even have to be like
Chaos.
for the chaos. It's just fun to watch. Zolkin will be another one that we're playing.
Sanctum.
Sanctum is
He already said
Oh,
that.
did you? Sorry.
You weren't paying attention.
Yeah, can you tell me how to win? Oh.
Supposedly,
Sanctum has a great cheat sheet, by the way.
supposedly, Sanctum, you're all getting to beat the, it's a Diablo sort of theme, and I've never played it, but supposedly you're all getting to the big bad guy at the end, and whoever can basically survive wins. And I
It's
heard
brutal.
that everyone survived last game, which was, I think Will cheated.
I cheated.
But
We all cheated, but you know better.
check that out, August 1st. We'd love for you to join us, basically all day that day. So.
Yeah. Well, thank you guys. It's been fun.
Oh,
Thank you guys.
Chantel says bye from the other room.
Oh, okay.
Bye,
Lost
Chantel.
Chantel's in baby duty, but
Yeah. Sleep good, Jordan. Thank you guys so much. Have a great week. We'll catch you the next time. See you around.
Trying to guess. Or...